Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging headfirst into World Wrestling Entertainment's Monday Night Raw, specifically edition hashtag 1682.
That's right. This one aired August 18th, 2025, from the Wells Fargo Center in Philly.
Yep, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in front of, wow, nearly 12,000 fans. Pretty packed house.
Definitely a passionate crowd there.
So our mission for this deep dive, well, it's to really get into it, go beyond just the results. We wanted to dissect the key moments, the surprising twists, the character stuff from this Raw report.
Absolutely. Extracting those important nuggets, those insights from the very beginning right through to the end.
Okay, let's break down the significance of this show. It really kicked off with a bang, didn't it?
That opening segment with Seth Rollins' group.
Yeah.
A lot going on there.
Huge energy. And what really stood out to me, and I think probably to you too, was the crowd reaction. They were cheering this whole heel group.
Right. Especially Bron Breakker and Paul Heyman. Even though they're the villains, that Philly crowd, they were into it.
Yeah, they appreciate that kind of boldness, I guess.
Well, and that's where Heyman is just masterful, isn't he? He comes out, declares himself God in Philadelphia.
Which is just peak Heyman.
Exactly. It's arrogant, yeah, but it's also calculated. He's drawing heat, but also kind of positioning his guys as untouchable, and the crowd eats it up.
And he called the ring full of goats, right? Praising Breakker and Bronson Reed.
Yeah, really building them up. And speaking of Reed.
Okay, yeah. The shoes. He's still carrying Roman Reigns' shoes. That's quite the statement.
It is.
Yeah.
And you heard those OTC chants from the crowd?
Over the top, yeah. Basically saying they're done with Reigns. They think he's been overexposed.
That's how crowds signal they want to change, And Heyman, he just pours fuel on that fire, doesn't he? Reminding everyone Rollins beat Reigns twice.
Right when Rollins was about to talk. Boom. Jey Uso.
Through the crowd. Didn't even wait for the ramp. Stays right there in the audience.
And cuts his promo, saying he's had enough of the vision.
And calls Breakker a puppy. Straight away.
Oof. Setting the stage right there.
And Rollins, he's the master manipulator, isn't he? Immediately tries to twist it.
Tells Breakker that Jey insulted his family. Made it sound way worse than just puppy.
Yeah, claiming Jey said he thought he was better, stronger, that his family was stupid. Just pure fabrication to stir the pot.
And Breakker looked like he bought it too. He was ready to go.
Looked ready to lunge, yeah. But Rollins held him back, playing the long game there, keeping it simmering.
Such a calculated move by Rollins. Just, wow. And Heyman, not missing his chance.
He jumps in with a history lesson, talking about settling scores in a bingo hole nearby.
You knew where he was going. Setting up Extreme Rules, invoking Sandman, New Jack, RVD, Sabu.
Tommy Dreamer, the Dudley Boys. All the ECW legends. He was about to make the match official.
But Jey cuts him off.
Yeah. Jey just takes control, interrupts Heyman, and declares the Extreme Rules match himself for later tonight.
Talk about seizing the moment. That really amped things up.
Definitely set a high bar for the night. But the women's division had its own complex stuff going on, too.
Right, starting backstage with Asuka and Iyo Sky.
Yeah, Asuka finally apologized for that shove last week.
And then she and Kairi Sane offered to be ringside for Sky's match.
But Sky turned them down. Politely, but still. It felt like a deliberate distancing, maybe.
It did feel a bit cool, yeah. Then we got the first match. Iyo Sky beating Raquel Rodriguez.
Yep, Raquel had Roxanne Perez with her. Sky won with the moonsault, took about 11 minutes.
But it wasn't over after the bell, was it?
Not at all. Perez and Rodriguez immediately jumped Sky.
And then, the save. Rhea Ripley. Kind of surprising, right?
Very surprising. And she came in fast, and what was really interesting was how quickly Sky then teamed up with Ripley to fight off Rodriguez.
From opponents to allies in seconds.
It's that classic enemy of my enemy situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes immediate survival, that strategic need, trumps any personal beef, at least for a moment.
Makes sense. But that led to more drama backstage.
Oh, yeah. Heated confrontation. Asuka saying Ripley Sky. Asuka was not happy Ripley helped Sky instead of, them.
I bet. Big argument between Asuka and Ripley.
Loud argument. Until Sky basically yelled over both of them and just stormed off.
Leaving Asuka and Ripley staring daggers at each other.
Pretty much. Asuka left eventually. Ripley looked annoyed, and Sane just seemed kind of disappointed by the whole thing.
Man, so much tension there. Okay, shifting gears a bit. We had some unexpected encounters, too.
Like LA Knight's interview getting crashed by CM Punk.
Right, and Punk immediately tries to dismiss the interviewer, Jackie Redmond.
Yeah, telling her to leave, but Knight steps in. No, she stays.
Good for Knight, standing his ground.
Definitely a power play from Punk right away. Then he tries to pitch an alliance, doesn't he? Against Rollins' group.
But Knight completely rejected it.
Flat out. brought up Punk attacking him last week, said his focus is leaving Paris as world champion, period.
Shows nice got that laser-focused title or nothing.
Exactly. He's not getting sidetracked.
We also had, during a commercial, The New Day doing their heel thing.
Oh, yeah. Kofi calling the 76ers losers. Classic Philly heat.
And Xavier Woods claiming Penta owes him money for his hat. Just random, funny heel stuff.
Typical New Day antics. And then there was that Triple Mania update.
Called it the most watched edition in history, right? 4.3 million views in 24 hours.
Impressive numbers. But interestingly, no mention of the YouTube broadcast.
Yeah, that was a bit weird, wasn't it? Usually they promote that.
Well, curious omission for sure. Anyway, that led into the second match.
Penta versus Xavier Woods.
Yep, Woods had Kingston and Grayson Waller with him. Penta got the win with a Canadian Destroyer in just under 10 minutes.
So we've got Knight turning down Punk, New Day being villains, Penta getting a win. How do all these bits and pieces fit together, you think?
Well, I don't think they all directly connect, you know? It's more about building this whole Raw ecosystem.
Okay.
Like the New Day promo sets up their match, sure, but it also kind of reinforces this chaotic vibe where everyone's got their own agenda, which is the world Punk and Knight are navigating. It's less one single story, more this web of different conflicts and goals. Keeps things dynamic.
That makes sense. Creating a whole world. Okay, speaking of conflicts, let's talk championship drama and some personal vendettas. Triple Mania Fallout.
Right. Dominic Mysterio getting pinned by El Hijo del Vikingo because AJ Styles interfered.
And Dom was not happy.
Not happy is an understatement. He was fuming. Called Styles an old bat for costing him the title.
And immediately set his sights on Vikingo, right? Announced a match for Worlds Collide on September 12th.
Exactly. And that's how these things escalate, you know. External interference, especially from someone like Styles, it ignites these really personal feuds, makes the stakes feel higher, crosses promotional boundaries.
Blurs those lines, good point. Then the third match, Judgment Day, Balor and JD McDonough.
With Dom at ringside, yeah. They beat Dragon Lee and Mr. Iguana. Balor hit the coup de grace on Lee. Took about 10 minutes.
And then the post-match beatdown, of course.
Standard Judgment Day procedure. They went after Iguana and Lee. Dom tried to put Lee through the announce table.
But Vikingo made the save.
Timely save, yeah. Took out Balor, Dom, and McDonough for a second.
Only for a second.
Yeah, Dom recovered fast, cracked Vikingo with the title belt, and then hit the frog splash. Really driving home that this is personal now. Vikingo is his target.
Okay, intense stuff. Let's pivot again to Becky Lynch and her
version of events, yeah. That backstage interview was interesting.
She tried to explain attacking Natalya, claiming Natalya attacked her first.
And positioned herself as the hero for getting Maxine Dupree a match. So Natalya bitterly shoved her away.
And flat out said Natalya doesn't belong in the ring with her. Wow.
It definitely paints Becky in a, let's say, self-serving light, twisting the narrative to fit her view.
We also got that Bayley video package. That was pretty heavy.
Yeah, really compelling. Focus on those internal voices telling her she makes no sense, she's nothing, has no friends.
Showing her feeling like she's breaking, doesn't know what she needs.
It suggests a real psychological struggle. Often that's build up for a big character change, you know?
Yeah.
Something that might resonate with people watching.
Definitely felt raw. Okay, so then the match itself for the Women's Intercontinental title.
Becky Lynch defending against Natalya, who had Tozawa and Maxine with her.
And Becky retained.
Yep, submission victory with the disarmor. Took just under 8 minutes. But the drama wasn't over.
What happened next?
Immediately after the win, Lynch attacked Maxine Dupree, put her in the disarmor.
Jeez, okay. Adding insult to injury.
And then the music hits. Or rather, no music, just chaos.
Don't tell me.
Nikki Bella, unannounced return, storms the ring, goes right after Lynch.
No way. Nikki Bella's back.
Back with a vengeance. Assaulted Lynch, finished her off with the Rack Attack 2.0.
Wow. Okay, that's huge. Just completely unexpected. What does that mean for the division, the timing?
Well, it completely shakes things up, doesn't it? Nikki Bella's a huge star, a multi-time champion. Bringing her back now, especially going right after the dominant champion, Becky Lynch.
It creates an instant top-level feud.
Exactly. No build-up needed. Just pure shock value and immediate stakes. It elevates the whole division, bringing back a major name like that. Big power move by the company and by Nikki herself.
Incredible moment. All right, so beyond that shocker, Raw also set up some future stuff, didn't it? Across different shows even.
Yeah, they announced that Stephanie McMahon podcast special with Naomi and Jey Uso.
And the clip cut off right before Jimmy made an announcement.
Classic cliffhanger. Build that anticipation.
We also saw Sheamus and Rusev backstage.
Yep, quick encounter. But Adam Pearce made it official. They're facing off at Clash of Champions.
And a little NXT plug, too.
Yeah, Trick Williams' interview got interrupted by Javon Evans, just teasing their match for the next day. Little cross-promotional bits.
And Punk tried again with Jey Uso right before the main event.
Second time he offered help. And Jey, politely but firmly, turned him down again.
Said he wanted to do it alone. Focus is on Paris.
Shows Jey standing on his own 2 feet, really emphasizing his independence.
Good for him, but okay. The biggest moment of the night, arguably. Still to come.
Absolutely seismic. Adam Pearce in the ring, introducing the Women's World Champion, Naomi.
And she comes out visibly emotional, right? Tears in her eyes.
Yeah, you could tell something major was happening. And then up on the screen, her and Jimmy Uso.
Announcing she's pregnant.
Wow.
Oh.
Just a huge real-life moment playing out live. And this is where wrestling gets so unique, doesn't it? That blend of personal life and storyline.
It really is. It taps into that emotional investment the audience has in the performers as people.
Transforms a personal milestone into this massive narrative point, potentially reshaping the whole Bloodline story.
You could feel it in the building. Pierce congratulates her, but Naomi, she wasn't having his, corporate spiel.
No, she went into this defiant promo, told Pierce to piss off.
Almost looked like she'd keep the title, but then she laid it down defiantly.
And gave that powerful statement, thanking Big Jim, her father-in-law, Rikishi, for influencing her decision.
And then the line, but hey, the Bloodline continues with this. Chills.
Yeah. And the crowd just erupted. Baby Uso.
Yeah.
Chants.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And she promised she'd be back for the title, didn't she?
I am laying down my title now, but when I come back, I'll get it back. Powerful stuffs. Setting goals, even in that moment. Integrating everything.
Just amazing. And then somehow there was still a main event match to cap it all off.
Right. The Extreme Rules match Jey Uso demanded earlier. Him versus Bron Breakker with Heyman ringside.
And Jey got the win.
He did. After a grueling match, over 21 minutes, finished Breakker off with a Uso splash.
What a night. Just packed with high-stakes drama, those shocking returns, and, deeply personal revelations really reshaped things on Raw.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how these narratives, filled with all the manipulation, the defiance, these unexpected turns, that give you this really unique window into pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And how it connects to real stories, legacies. It's not just about who wins or loses the match, is it? It's all those layers underneath, the emotion, the strategy.
Exactly. Which kind of leaves us with something for you, our listener, to think about. How do these really personal stories and rivalries, the stuff we saw tonight, how does that reflect bigger themes like loyalty, ambition, legacy, maybe even stuff outside the wrestling world?
Good question to ponder.
Definitely something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.